Hi guys, welcome to Roy's Garage. Today we're working on my 300ZX and we're going to be replacing the clock with the Z Spec clock delete kit. I've got the kit just here. It's got a quite a nice little 300ZX plate there that's going to replace the clock. This is the Z Spec kit, and I'm not sure if you can see that just there. No, my camera's not gonna, does not want to focus on that. Anyway, it's the Z Spec kit, Nissan 300ZX Z32 illuminated clock delete kit. This is the red one in the 300ZX style. Okay, so in the kit you get the plate. You get some little spacers in a bag, and there's a transformer which is required to run from the 12 volt to the illumination on the faceplate. So let's get in the car and start pulling things apart. Okay guys, so now we're in the car. Of course, the first thing you should always do before you do any electrical work where you'll be cutting wires or maybe connecting and disconnecting things is to lift the ground terminal off your car battery to completely deaden your whole electrical system. Because what could happen is if you cut between two wires, you'll create a short and something will go fizzle. Hopefully you'll only lose a fuse, but in worse circumstances you could damage components and that sort of thing. So always when you're doing this sort of electrical work, make sure that the vehicle is completely isolated by removing the negative battery terminal. Taking apart the dash here, your 300ZX, underneath this little panel here will have two screws holding down the center console part here. Mine hasn't got those, and as you'll see in a moment, someone who had the car before I bought it has gone and broken all of this here, so there's no point trying to screw into it. Okay, so we've got a 4-pin connector just here for our clock, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to the factory service manual and have a look at where that wiring comes from and which ones we need to connect to for our clock delete unit. Okay, so now the question is, which wire do we need to tap into to power our clock delete unit? And to that we're turning to our handy dandy Nissan 300ZX manual, and we'll go to the electrical section and look at the wiring diagram for the clock. Okay, here we are on page EL75, 300ZX manual. We have the horn, cigarette lighter and clock wiring diagram, and what we can see here is that we've got our ignition power, which is this one here, comes through into LG. Now L is blue with a green stripe, and if we follow that through to our digital clock, we've got that marked as LW, so that is blue with a white stripe. So either way, it's either blue with a green or blue with a white stripe, and we'll see that when we have a look at the plug in there. And then the next thing we need to find is our ground, and our ground is the black wire. So we're looking for a blue and a black, black being our ground and our blue being our positive, and that's what we'll be drawing our power off for the delete. We also have two illumination control system, so we have green with a red stripe, which is our dimmed power for our illumination, and then we have Y, which is the permanent power supply for particularly the clock running. Okay, so now we've checked out our wiring, we know which wire we want to use to make the connections. We need to do a little bit more disassembly. Here's a hot tip: plastic tubs. Okay, whenever you're pulling something apart, it's always going to be better if you can put all your pieces into a nice neat tub, and that way you're not going to lose things, which can make you spoil your day a little bit. This particular tub here, I'm a bit of a collector of nice containers, and this one gets the okay, so we've got two screws here that we need to undo. We've got two at the top of this center console. Your ashtray just lifts out. Underneath your ashtray you've got another screw that needs to come out. You need to remove your gear stick knob, which just screws off. Lots of tabs. Okay, that's coming out. And then we can simply lift this away. Okay, you've got some wiring connectors down there. What I'm going to do is just sit this to the side, and I'm going to leave that connected while I find this wire. Okay, now we've got our, oh, okay, righto. Yep. Okay, so this is our clock connector. It's got our yellow, green, red stripe, black and blue white stripe wires that we found in our wiring diagram earlier. Okay guys, so we've got our electrical connector for the old clock, and the wires we're going to be using are the black, which is our ground, and the blue with a white stripe, which is our accessories power. Okay, our yellow is permanent power, which would have been used to keep the clock power always running, and our green with a red stripe is the dimmed illumination line. Okay, right, so a little technique I use, rather than cutting this connector off and ruining this for the future, if someone else wanted to go back to factory, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tap into these lines. So I'm going to quite carefully just strip away a little bit of this insulation here. Being careful not to cut your fingers. There we are. Okay, I got enough wire bed there that I can then get some soldering and soldering iron. nicely tinned. Okay, so we've got our bared edge of the wire tinned up with a bit of solder. And just do that again. If you're careful with a trimmer knife when you do this, it's not that much of a problem really, but obviously, as you can see, it's a bit of a risk, so be careful. There we are. I'm not a big fan of those sort of piggyback punch-on sort of connectors that some audio shops use. I find that, you know, after a few years of corrosion and so on and so forth, they can start to lose their connection. Now what we've got here is the transformer block here, and I'm just gonna actually I might no, I'll just leave it on there. Okay, so I'm just gonna strip a little more from the ends. That's what we want. You know, so I got about maybe 6mm bared there. Let's set this up where I can get to it to tin these. Okay. Now, little solder. No. There we go. Okay, right. Then I'm going to connect red, black stripe to black. Let that cool. And connect red to blue, white stripe. Okay, now we're just looking for a little bit of electrical tape on those. Tape a corner and just spiral that on there. I like to wrap up onto those two wires and hold them together, so in the future you're not going to have a connection that's wiggling around close to where the solder is. Just immobilize that a little bit. Okay. Oh, come on. Oh, you naughty piece of tape. Go on the wire. We've got the center console piece out, and we're going to the back of the old clock display, and I'm going to just carefully remove these two screws. And arrow clock unit comes out. Now, looks here like they've got these large openings at each side, remembering that this way is up, so that needs to fit in there. Okay, this connector here is flexible, and that needs to fold back when you put that in there. Okay, right, that's our first problem. Doesn't really fit. Oh wow, okay. Problem I'm having here is that this little bit of display is not within the metal plate. It's hanging out just a little bit and giving me some trouble there. Okay guys, so having a look at the verniers here, the problem seems to be that we've got we've got 88.7 we've got 88.7 millimeters between these plastic posts, but when we measure this, ooh, gee, it's close. Okay, well that is 88.6. So almost the exact same size, so that should fit. So what am I doing wrong? Why is it not let me fit? I want to break this. Safety first. Dremel. And I think what we're going to do is just mark a little bit on the other side. Okay, let's see if that's helped. Put that in there. Okay, so I'd only needed a little trim there, and now we've got our little 300ZX badge fitted in there. Alright, so we've got our little bushings kit in here, which we're going to bust out, see what we need, what we've got and what fits. So we've got red bushings, going to fit on there. It's going to fit on there. And we've got some washers. And we've got the original screws. So it looks like you only need one of the bushings that you provided with. You've got these two white ones, there's two red ones there. I think in my application the red ones are probably going to be the go. Okay, so what I found here is that just between this lower plate and where this display portion starts, there's a bit of a step down there, which I'm not entirely comfortable just putting a washer straight across that. So what I've gone and done is I've cut a little step out of that washer. Okay, and that step is going to go right on there, so that now the weight is down on the bottom plate there, with just the little lip of the washer sitting up on the on that display. And then I'm going to throw the provided washer and the original screw back into that hole. Not doing this up too tight. It's not going to take a lot of force to hold this in place. So, you know, kind of watch what you're doing. Listen. Don't overdo things. You know. That's only pretty light torque on those screws, and they're firm. That display plate's going nowhere. Okay, and there we are, our installed 300 ZX clock delete. Here we are, putting it back together and installing it. I'm going to put this center console back in place. Okay. Let's put this screw back in the center console. Not too tight. The gear stick knob goes back on. Okay, and now we need to connect the wiring for our clock delete. Those go. Put that wiring away. Back in there. that down. Okay, right, now we're ready to see if it works. And there we are, that's all done. Well, that wraps things up for this video. Remember to like and subscribe because I am trying to get this channel going and I'd like to be able to bring more videos to you. Okay, catch you out on the road.